Okay, let's study for another like an hour-ish, maybe even less. All right, let's look at this one. Why not? We'll go high-low. What is this like from these spots? Bro, I just gotta look at everything at this point. Like, I'm ass at the game. Okay, so he does play jams. He plays a lot of B20. And if he does B20, how often do we raise our hand? Yeah, not very often. We raise like aces more often. And then obviously like some of the flush draws. And queen jack. What's the fucking next card? Three clubs. Does he play all-ins? I could see it. Oh shit, he's the best. We were a little deeper than this though. It was actually like more of like a 150% jam. So, but still fine, probably. So he's trying to fold out a6 of spades. That's what I thought in game, as well as ace king. If he goes half pot, I can probably call ace king more often. Yeah. We'll plate him. We'll plate him. Boring ass hand, to be honest. Okay, this one's more. I'm more curious about. It's a very simple spot, but this is the hand. I'm assuming range bet follow-up is fine. It's what's a bet turn and then what's a bet river. How are you guys doing today? Everyone in here. We got 0 delay on, so. Assuming range? You're. He does have little king queen on, so we were wrong. We were wrong. As usual, we are wrong. Probably has it like too much though. 75. I'm assuming my hand bets. Yeah. You just bet everything but clubs. You don't like. Okay, so wait. You like hearts because you block 5-4 and ace-4, right? And then you like. And then you like So that's why you don't like clubs, because it's like a little bit of a difference. Like your opponent will have 5-4 and will have ace-4. So you want to block those hands. You bet, like I said, and then ace-5. Then obviously you like diamonds for the equity. But the main thing is also like your opponent folds a lot of, like if you look at folding range, your opponent's going to fold a lot of these ace-6 backdoors, but they already folded the spades on the flop, but now they fold these, and same with ace-queen. Obviously ace-queen you have spades, but even ace-5s. I guess you block ace-5 spades folds, but for that reason your opponent actually can call clubs late, but that's like some extreme heuristic. Ace-10 folds as well. And then your opponent should call pairs at a frequency, so like I'm assuming we just have to follow through on the river. I guess if the opponent calls 5s, I do block 5s, but I can't imagine my hand doesn't jam. Yeah. Playing again, I'm gonna mix strategies here actually. Because you go half pots and make these pocket pairs indifferent. But in practice, no one does this. So you'll just play jam or fold. But you have king jack, it's a definitely interesting line. Probably worth. How much EV do you lose if you don't find it? Wait, my EV just went up. Am I tripping? Oh, that's because it probably gives him leads now. Yeah. I guess I can increase this if people care, but I don't know. I'd see why people would in the study stream. I can probably also do this. Alright. Let's go, Professor. What's up, David? 3 months for the sub. Thank you. Why is my alert box? Oh, I don't think I have an alert box here. I probably should get one. Let me add. There we go. We got it. Let's fucking smurf today. Alright, so this hand, pretty natural. I think I have the right read on the spot. I guess we can look at, like, other hands up left river. Or, like, turn. Wow. Actually, you know what? I probably wouldn't find as thin as I'm supposed to bet here on turn. Like, jacks and queens for value. I guess it makes sense, right? Because your opponent has to call, like, middling pairs. And you just want to be super aggressive on king high. The main card you don't want is clearly clubs, right? It's just the main thing. You just naturally don't want clubs. That's actually what makes ace nine of clubs like a better bluff on the river in a weird way, because we naturally... Wait, never mind. Ace five of clubs... I thought it was still an all-in. Oh, but I guess if we're playing one size all-in, it's just a different type of vibe. Yeah. Never mind. It was literally saying it made more money, but... Yeah, clubs are just bad the whole way. I don't see why. Like, you would just always want to block 5-4 and ace-4. Queen hearts, jack of diamonds. You don't block. You block like jack of diamonds folds, and you don't block king queen suited. I'm surprised this way likes to jam a lot more though. That's what's weird. Also something to do with what opponent fast blades here. Yeah, he jams more queen of hearts. It's weird. Because this one loses 0.3, but this makes like so much money as a jam. Yeah, I guess that's why, because he jams more queen of hearts on the turn. I don't know. This is so like niche, it's hard to be able to react. I guess we'll see what he has here. It's probably worth knowing. Obviously, villain has king queen off, but yeah, obviously you want to block this. This is why queen of hearts isn't good. You want to block one of these, and I guess you have it higher density. That's probably the reason. Then you have king jack in theory for some reason. I don't know why that would be true though. I feel like people would just play this the same way every time. That's why like you can't really look at stuff like this. I think queen jack in general is just gonna be a good river jam here. And since you're like so aggressive, yeah, it's like queen jack and queen 10 with that blocking, double blocking the suited king X is the main other bluff, and then you just pick your good ace X. Spades is obviously the best. I don't know what changed. You kind of look like Logic. Wait, what is this? Oh. Do I look like Logic? Fuck him, I will never love him. I'm way up. I don't know. Maybe. I'll take it as a compliment. Do I look black? So is that what you're saying? You saying I look black, David? I changed my haircut. I cut my hair. Logic has no hair, no? We back at it. Young Logic, the rap addict. Alright, let's look at some more interesting spots. I think we got the right idea of the spot. Ace queen just wants good king queen blockers on the river. And clearly ace of spades still. You don't mind ace of hearts as well, but yeah. You definitely don't want low stuff because your opponent's main folding range should be the pair. So you don't want to like turn 8-7 into a bluff. Apparently 8-7 is checking EV. Because your opponent has like some 6-5. Oh my god. Imagine winning with 8-7 here. Alright. How often do you call a pocket pair in villain shoes? Obviously you call nines. Yeah, you just barely call. You just roll and call it like 10%, I guess. You probably never need to call it. You just call to make sure you don't overfold turn, basically. Because you have to call... That's kind of like why the bluff isn't probably the best. I'll probably just mix on turn here, because I face this line often. I mean, in theory, you like spades less, because like we said, opponent bluffs spades more. The reason... here's like a niche theory exploit, boys. Since people will never see your strategy, in theory, you would always just pure call these, and just pure fold these, I think. The reason why is because you only do this so your opponent is like more indifferent with his like spades blockers than you should be. And if you start pure calling it naturally, then like it would flip the other way. That's the idea, and your opponent would much rather bluff without the spade, right? Because it's like such a like small heuristic. Whereas like if you were like drastically like, if he knew for a fact you were pure calling all these, then he could switch and start doing it with the bad suit. But like no one in a billion years is ever gonna do this. So when you even at like 100k now, I swear. So this is one of the spots where the solver just lies. I mean, you can obviously just simplify and mix everything because you don't know what your opponent's doing. But I would say more often than not, people might find that the spade is a better bet here. But they're not gonna find like the like fucking mono. We've played the spot 10,000 times versus each other. So like that's why like blocker heuristics can actually exploitively make a little bit even more, in my opinion. Because if you look here, opponent's actually supposed to just pure bluff these, right? Because they're better. But the reason why is, okay, maybe we can actually get a little node lock heuristic going. Let's see if we can learn something. Wait, no, I want this on turn. 9 comes in on the river, bro. Why is it like no locking how much 9s I have? It's kind of cringe. Alright, whatever. It's pointless anyway. We'll go to another hand. I think we're back to the old overlay today, boys. We're gonna run this. The people have spoken. Sorry, mobile viewers. The people have spoken in my Discord. Alright, this spot was weird. I'm curious about defense spots because I feel like I'm pretty bad at them. Because like generally when you play lower stakes, you're just pure exploitative in the defense line, and I think it's correct to be. So that makes me like, kind of understudied in them. Like I just naturally got away with just playing more exploitative strategies based off like just inversing how I play and knowing what's correct from like just like barely looking at it. Okay, it looks like he's probably playing half pot range though. He's supposed to run 75 very aggressively with the AJO advantage. Yeah, pure folding 8s without a heart here. Is that what we had? We had 8s with a heart. 10 of clubs. And he runs check. I'm probably just, maybe I'm just close-minded here about what he could have. He probably could have a lot of hands like this. Maybe I need to like visualize the board better, but he checks. And 8's just pure checks. We actually have a shit ton of showdown ED, but when this king comes off, I think we're just cooked. Yeah, you open some of the lower pairs, unblocking, obviously 8's itself that could fold. Anyway, he goes half pot, right? Yeah, basically. Yeah, 8's never jamming. We bluff jam with like bad ace, 4x, ace 4. And then like some queen 10, like I said, queen 10 of hearts. Blocking more of the value. Aces can value jam sometimes, but not very. Alright, I'm curious about this triple barrel and a 4-bet pot. Let me know if you guys have any questions about the other hands, because then we'll just go back and look at it more deep. If you guys have any hand histories, make sure to post it in my Discord, and I'll review it with you guys. Okay, so this actually, funny enough, is like a really bad board for the cutoff. And, yeah. Because I guess he's supposed to still have AKS. We actually have more top pair, but he just is insane about it. Like, he has more 9s and 8s. Right? And button has way more sets. So you just play the size up, I guess. And sideboard. Let's see how much range bet loses. Loses like 0.5 bigs. What's the counter exploit? Not much. You're raising 6s and 7s without a diamond as a bluff. Because the calling EV is actually, because they're basically the same hand in the raising line. It's actually still better in the raising line. But the calling EV is just so much better. And the idea, I guess, is you're betting too many underpairs. You rejam queens as a bluff, which is hilarious. It's like a merge, I think, because your opponent has to fold ace-x somewhat, or no, because your opponent's main raising range for value is ace-queen. So when you block that, your opponent's more likely to have these draws. So you actually kind of like can merge jam it, but yeah. So you fold kings, because your opponent's main raising hand he has for value is ace-queen. So you just like the ace of diamonds less. You like double bad suit more, it looks like, or I guess queen of clubs actually. And then you raise your combo draws, and then like low pairs. You probably don't even need low pairs. I guess you can do it without a diamond. And the only reason why is like it doesn't interact at all. Like your opponent never. I mean, I guess he has a little bit of 7s, but it's probably irrelevant. And he's not folding a7. The only reason why this is kind of the reason we raise the lower ones is because these ones actually have calling EV, meaning they're profitable calls in the spot to bluff later streets. Whereas these hands are just you can't call them, so you use them as like airball bluffs. Yeah. So that's kind of like how you play. You just raise ace-queen more for value slightly. This niche heuristic, I should probably find stuff more like this in game. I could actually see it like actually making even more money. Because people might not ever have ace-king here, so their raising range is just 9s, 8s, and ace-queen. So, yeah. But yeah, and also I can see people making mistakes. If they're betting too many of these underpairs, that's the idea, is you have too many underpairs to be range betting. And you're supposed to have a lot more king jack king 10 than you probably do have, though. The thing is, people might be too tight from these spots. Anyway. What's the common strategy assuming opponent plays correctly? Because you know what I should study here? I should study, let's look at the checking line, because, you know, people will say whatever, but queen jack of spades, I'm assuming it does bet a good amount, so I can actually, I'm assuming my hand was just a good double, a triple barrel. But what's important here is, okay, you've had ace-king more. The king of diamonds is the least bet one. I guess you unblock calls, right? That's the idea. You just block, you block calls and you unblock all the faults, and you'll probably unblock bluffs as well. You also unblock these hands are drawing dead, right? So you don't really care. Whereas this hand, yeah, like when you unblock it, you don't want to, even if it is a bluff. These hands do bluff at a frequency. Yeah, basically, the reopening range is actually very similar heuristics to the raising range on the flop, which is quite funny. I think it's like pretty easy to find actually. Just mixing ace queen. Obviously, you're doing it slightly more, but it's basically very similar range. Yeah, people just won't bluff these hands enough as well. In the check line, let's just put a deuce out there to like kind of learn the heuristics of the spot, since most cards are probably not going to be dynamic. Yeah, then it's just 75. Still checking the king of diamonds. Basically, you roll these hands low frequency. They're mostly betting. I think this idea. It's interesting queen of diamonds bets, but I find this a heuristic. Generally, like, the better slow plays are usually always the better like natural slow plays as well. Because obviously your opponent can run check, and I'm assuming these hands now like are close to pure check raising, and then you slow play like you see. The one that checks the most often is checking the most often for a reason, whereas these ones are checking low frequency to be in like the delay line and the check raise line. It's interesting to see queen of diamonds. It must be some like equity thing, because it's like these hands actually have more equity while you like betting it. Because your opponent, when he has a queen, is likely always going to have a draw, so you don't actually mind stuff. Whereas a king is like basically, let me care about the flush. That's probably why here. Yeah. Because you don't mind folding out this, whereas folding out this when you have ace king is completely pointless. This hand's dead. Whereas this hand's not dead. I think that's the idea. So you'd rather have higher EV, because you see this hand is a profitable call. right? Even though you got value from something, I mean, this hand does make money, right? So. I mean, obviously blocking these is weird, but yeah. Because your opponent's just going to be, when they call, is naturally going to be more weighted. I think that's the only thing I can think of. Is this heuristic with ace jack as well? Yeah, it is. Except ace of diamonds looks like spinning. Quite weird, actually. It's hard to really, like, find something grounded for this, if I'm being honest, but it is what it is. But yeah, the main reason is you actually do have to build checks here. You probably don't in practice, like in your guys' state, but like the main reason you probably should build checks is these hands just don't perform that well in the betting line. They're basically just torching, I think. I wonder if this heuristic is true here for just like even like rainbow board. But now I feel like these hands could get value from 9s, 8s, 7s, so like range bet strategy is like more preferred. Yeah, that's the idea, is because now if you bet kings, you get called by like dog shit. You get called by these hands, and your opponent has a tough time floating. Whereas like ace 9, 8, your opponent can't really miss. Like I think your opponent naturally just hits MDF from just calling. And you notice that you pick like the B20 size, not B33. So yeah, I kind of blundered this. How you guys doing in the chat? Make sure to send hands if you have a hand history. Also, guys, I'm about to send a YouTube short public in a sec, so we got enough of you in here. Let's all juice my YouTube short. What do you guys think? You guys want to fucking help me out? We just all juice it and fucking comment farm that shit? You guys be my bots? Yeah, so you see your opponent only has like so many natural folds if you range B20 here. It's like, oh, I could fold 10s with the diamond, like, or like 10s without a club, right? And like my other natural folds are like, okay, bad king X. It's like your opponent naturally hits MDF in the spot from just like playing the game. That's generally why range bets cannot be as good sometimes, because your opponent, like, just from like literally even a recreational could defend this probably. More curious about Villain's Call. All right, perfect. But that's generally why. But yeah, anyway. So I kind of know how to play. Like, when you don't know a spot though, you have to like actually learn all the lines. Like, just briefly look at them. Like, I can't like what a lot of people will do. I think when I like hang out with my when I'm on a call with my friend and study, is be like, oh, this is half pot or check. Okay, nice, and they just move into the next hand. Whereas you have to actually learn how to play the lines. Otherwise you're just gonna end up, which is so interesting because I think I did it wrong. It's supposed to be like the other way. That's what was weird the first time. It's like this, right? Wait, did I just do it the same way? No, it's like this. Just because, yeah, it was King of Diamonds checking. So you know King of Diamonds, mainly slow play. Queen of Diamonds, the heuristics don't, I mean, it still matters, Diamonds slow play more. And then if you do, you should roll with these hands if you care. Like, obviously, if you know your opponent's maybe exploitable in some way, you don't need to listen to any of this because it's all garbage. So you have an exploit, then. For example, you have a bluff and you know he's going to overfold. You just he calls too many hands, you just bet more. Yeah. King Queen off wants the diamond because you block so many folds. This is like all the folding range here. Bad King is like literally blocking all the folds, and then I guess Queen of Diamonds is still nice for future blockers, especially on turn. Half pot in the betting line. What do we size? Let's say Deuce of Diamonds comes off actually. I'm assuming all your value just has to go still. I guess Ace Queen gets a little more defensive. Ace King just likes ripping it. Unless you have AD, you can play some check lines, but in reality, you probably could just be pretty face up here. And just rip most hands. And then just like, I think like you could just check King Jack clubs here. Like the reason you're building a checking range pretty much is so you can protect this bullshit from like sometimes winning. You know what I'm saying? Now it is 0 because your opponent should just pure jam King Jack. And that's why I check it. Because you have so much garbage here that your opponent has to bluff. They just bluff King Jack, 8-7, all this bullshit. That's why you end up bluffing. It's interesting 7s bluffs. I guess it just unblocks. It can't check call, and it unblocks like these folds. So it's like the same heuristic. But yeah. Obviously, Queen of Diamonds can slow down more. I think Queen of Diamonds... Queen is always going to play different than Ace-X. Queen of Diamonds is okay, because A, you're giving a card to the right hand, I think, and then B, your opponent's supposed to range bluff Queen X here. in theory. I don't know if they will, but that's why they will check. All right, let's see this hand. I wonder if is there anything else I want to review at this hand? Because I don't really study spots often, so I probably should look at this a little more before I go to the next hand. Oh, I guess villain's defense strategy. Yeah, you're raising ace queen, like I said, and then the combo draws, and then you basically, yeah, nothing. There's no more of this garbage going on. Yeah. Oh, I guess funding the good triples. Okay, so here we know cutoff. I guess we gotta find. Okay, so turn. Yeah, you're just all in. Queen jack of spades here. You're just playing basically one size jam. You can slow down with some king high flush draws that like block the worst ones that call you basically, and then you're choosing 9x to bluff as well. Yeah, your opponent isn't pricing to call any more flush draws or any draws in general. So, and having a queen is obviously money. Opponent's actually indifferent with these hands. I would say the spot might actually be overcalled. Especially because I think these spots, if you go half pot, these cards are going to be overfold. Your opponent probably won't even have this. And then these spots could be like, people will raise these hands as a bluff, like 7-6. So this spot potentially might not even be profitable to bluff. The only thing is like potentially you could get like this is what you want to focus on, are these hands and these spots and how you think your opponent's going to play these. Because your opponent's obviously like, and these hands obviously. If your opponent is the archetype of like pure folding it, then obviously your bluff's print. If your opponent just doesn't think at all, it just snaps every ace here, then I would imagine they're under what's it called? They're calling too much. Generally, that's why people underbluff these ace high boards, because people just feel like people call too much. Okay. Let's look at a viewer's hand. Let's just look at the. I'll get my take first, and then we'll run it. Okay. It's versus Jarrett. That's always cool. It's deeper. That's always cool. Raise, call. You go overbet on the flop. That's fine. The stack depth. Turn. Okay. I mean, obviously, turn in like a vacuum is going to be fine. The thing about your turn bet is you're probably. I mean, it's not the worst. I mean, like, how could your opponent have a king of clubs hand to fold? I mean, like, would your, like, because you overbet flop, it probably doesn't matter anymore. Like, obviously, clubs as an archetype here is probably not going to be the best on the turn. Like, for example, like very niche, like your opponent could have 4-3 suited, and he maybe folds 4-3. Like, for example, you'd rather have king queen of like hearts. But then again, like, I'm blocking queen 3 suited. That hand could be a fold, right? It's a good card for you. But deeper, like, I would imagine Jarrett, like we see here, like, does offer a slow play more often. That's, like, the issue you might run into. That being said, the hand's, like, pretty fine. If you roll high 3 times, I can't imagine you'd, like, never overbet king of clubs. The thing is, if you're doing this pure, you're definitely overdoing it. Not that it matters, because I think, I would imagine it's overfolded. Obviously, he snapped fours, because he can't fold fours, but... The thing is about turn... He probably has more king jack off than me, but we're deep. I honestly don't think 4-4 is a great call. The reason why 4-4 is okay is because it stops you from being able to jam like ace queen, for example, for value. Like, he has to call hands like this sometimes. Okay? Otherwise, like, if let's say he only goes blocker, like I only call king queen and ace jack and do all this shit, right? Well, then you can start jamming ace queen really easily for value, because he's only calling king jack plus king jack blockers. Then you see what I'm saying? So when he plays a 4-4 slow played line, I think he has to just call. Otherwise, like, what happens when you have, like, you could have ace queen, right? Like, obviously it's niche, but versus nuts only sizing, but I don't know if it has to be a nuts only sizing. I mean, you have an advantage here. He never has jack 9 because he folds it on turn. So, and jack 9's good enough. Yeah, I know. I mean, he clearly thought you were over bluffing in the spot, bro. Like, that's basically what he's saying. And also, like, you don't know. Your opponent could jam ace queen. I mean, let's look at it. I think 4-4 is fine. I mean, obviously, it's hard. He doesn't have that much of it because he probably raises on flop a decent amount, right? And it's only 3 hands. And so let's say he raises it half the time on the flop. It's only 1.5 hands. So that's why it's like, it is what it is. Because like, you might be able to jam ace queen for value. I think on this river. Because like I think he's supposed to raise a lot of king jack on the turn, and he never has jack 9. So yeah, I think ace queen here for value is probably fine. Maybe I'm just bad at poker though, because he's supposed to raise at some point. Obviously, if he's a slow play Andy, like some people will just pure slow play versus this size, then and they won't raise flop. Then okay, then he might have like 12 combos or more of king jack. I think turn sizing must be a mistake. Yeah, I mean, it's probably okay deeper. I would think like if you really wanted to play an overbet size, you split. The reason why is the idea is I think like you do have an ace-x advantage for sure. Because you can just overbet like garbage ace-x of diamonds on the flop and he can't call it, right? Like you can overbet ace-5 off with the ace of diamonds and all this bullshit. And then it comes down to like, do you want to 75 it? Because he's going to still be stuck with a lot of 10 and queen x. But like obviously we know here ace-5 is not good enough to overbets. Right? So that comes down to like your stylistic preference. And if you want to play like a big size, like king jack, I have king jack. Basically, you know what I'm saying? And I'm likely firing river, and I'll just give, you know what I mean? You play like 175, I think. That being said, I think your size is fine. Like sizing is always like whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like the adjustment he makes into that sizing is like not it's whatever. I think it's like pretty telegraphed though. If you never give up a hand like this, which I'm not saying you never do. Like obviously you have higher equity bluffs, so you could give up. The 8 is obviously a great card, right? Like he folds all his jack 9 and you can just jam all of it. Can you give up river, you think? No, I don't think you can. I think like the river should be overfolded for sure. I mean, he never has jack 9. So having a king is so solid. I'd rather give a king x for 7. Yeah. It's just the question is turn, right? The question is turn. Which even then you still unblock folds on turn, right? Like you don't have a lot of these weaker diamonds hands that are gonna fold, like 9-8 of diamonds, 8-7 of diamonds, or 8-6, 9-6 of diamonds, 6-7 of diamonds. All this bullshit. Obviously 3 bets, but the gapper is like 6-8. And the 3 of clubs, like this, normally heuristically, like this is like not great to bet the backdoor flush draw hand, because obviously your opponent could have like king 8 of clubs he floats on the flop, but never is the size on the flop, so it actually doesn't matter. The thing is, I don't think it's pure. It's by no means probably pure on the flop as well. So that's kind of the issue. King X low feels pure. Yeah, by the time you get to river, how can you not? I mean, what you need like 40% bluffs? Like, how can you not bluff this hand? You don't have a diamond, right? It's just the question is if you end up the issue that you have to like look at is, do I end up with this type of hand too much on the river? Right? Because your river thought process is obviously sound, right? Like you need you have like huge jack 9 advantage, you have king jack advantage, you have lots of value, you can push it, and you can also jam thinner as a result. Because that's usually that's the main exploit you have. That's why I think you might be wrong on your read that it's ace queen only size. I meant that it's a nuts only size, because when you can jam thinner for value, you end up having to compensate. I mean, when you have more value hands, you have to compensate with more bluffs. But also, like, the main exploit is you can also push someone thinner. Wait. Give me a sec. It's my agent. Wait. How do I mute my audio? Alright, all y'all lip readers, you can know what that is. Anyway, let's run this fucking hand. Wait, what the fuck? I can't send it. Anyway, I think if he tanks calls, I don't feel weird. Yeah. I mean, he has so many folds there, and like honestly, Jarrett doesn't strike. Jarrett plays more simple. Like he's run it up to no, it's called in theory, but he's also like he does usually like fucking around and calling too wide, I think. Anyway, let's run this fucking hand. I put it 150 deep. Is this incorrect? Well, it's 175. Let's just run it at 150 and then we'll run it at 200. Sound good? Or do we? Let's just get stack size. Is perfect. Would I just add 25, right? Yeah, I should change preflop ranges. I doubt. Yeah, we can agree, like, people don't really play differently. It's pretty aggressive. It's definitely a good find. Like I for example, I would probably play your line like most of the time. I play your line pure. By the way, like I'm not talking from criticism. Like I usually like would used to overplay these lines because I feel like people just overfold. They don't expect you to. They like because I feel like a while ago, like things have changed. Like people just put people on high equity bluffs. Yeah, you see, it's half pot because you want to bet these like ace five off bullshits. That's what I was thinking. Because you get to leverage your actual range advantage more. Whereas if you go like nuts, you always gotta think about like where's the asymmetry, right? In the hand, like where's the asymmetry? And the asymmetry here is like completely like you can bet a lot of offsuit ace-x garbage. He can't call it. So the smaller you go, the more you kind of put pressure on his 10x, on his random 4x calls. You know what I'm saying? Whereas when you go big, you kind of bail him out. He still has to fold these hands, which is crazy. But skill level at 100 players is probably not very good. But you see what I'm saying? Like I always try to think of like where the asim is. But I think if we split, you're probably gonna get bailed out. So let's do that. I don't want to run size 125. It's gonna actually make the node probably weirder than it should be. Because I actually, for some reason, think, bro, that if you didn't have a bluff here, like you had a7 off, you would actually bet it, but you wouldn't play the size like exploitatively. Am I wrong? Like just like have a moment of humility. Yeah, I feel like I'm right on this because like I don't know. I was splitting. Okay. I don't think split any. I don't love splitting turns. I understand it though, but even then it's still like because like look how like most of your range wants to protect this. So even when you have king jack, you don't actually want to push it too hard because otherwise you end up two face up into his king jack and he could just bluff you off this hand every time. That's why splitting in the on turns is not always ideal because like it's harder to protect. You know what I'm saying? But that being said, it is what it is. Because like the thing is like you're naturally like, oh, I have a king, I rep king jack, but like obviously you're massively overdoing it if you do this. Right? Okay. Yeah, obviously it's less EV because like the 3 of clubs probably does block some folds. Yeah, like what, 4-3? Yeah. It's like the only hand, right? I chose half my king jack off and half my king jack x low. Okay, you're just the best player in the game, bro. But I believe you. You're playing versus Jared, so you're probably hard spinning. The stake is high stakes. It's versus Jared, so he's definitely spinning. I just chose half my king jack all and king x jack x low. Yeah, I mean it's fine. But you probably should go bigger then, right? Than 125? Okay, anyway, obviously you have jack 9. You don't want a diamond, obviously. Yeah. Okay. And then what do we get on the river? Like nothing, right? I guess we can look at Villain's response. Oh, we get an 8. Got a pretty god river. We can look at Villain's response on turn here quick. C4 is pure calling. It's not like the best hand ever. Yeah, you're not playing that many raises anymore when you go this big. Obviously, you went 175, it's a little bigger. You still play some jams though, and then you mix like obviously like flush draw. It's kind of odd that you do this. So like you're mixing jams without the diamond here, right? Like this is your only value, but then your bluffs have the diamond. So the weird thing about this, I feel like solver's obviously like fucking perfect, but wouldn't that like let your opponent be able to just like massively just overcall when he has king x of hearts? I don't know. I don't want to look at it. Yeah, you scroll wheel Ontario. Bro. Okay. And then, yeah, it's a jam. Because obviously, it's obviously a jam on the river. We knew this. And yeah, it's calling force most of the time. But let's see for value. Ace queen jams a little, but yeah, not too much. Obviously queens jam, but that doesn't matter for fours. King 8 likes jamming. It doesn't really matter. You actually have some checking EV, which is funny, but the 9's obviously goated because your opponent can bluff catch with the 9, I'm assuming. I guess your opponent never has ace 9 though. I honestly thought he might fold fours. Yeah, I don't know. I've started doing this thing on Ontario where like I actually just value the linear range more. Too many garbage players do like too much like niche thin jams to try and like level me, and then like the blockers I always end up like I feel like if the guy's over bluffing, he's like usually massively over bluffing, and the blocker's just fake. And also, in the thing about this spot is like when you block value, you're always gonna block bluffs. So, and if you think the guy's over bluffing, you'd rather just like, I feel like block more of the bluffs. I don't know. Unblock more of the bluffs. Obviously, fours is good because you could jam fours for value. That's obviously simple, right? You double block fours. And also, like for example, you're playing versus B Marchand here. He's jamming ace queen, bro. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah. Also, like solver, the thing about solvers, bro, is like they're clairvoyant. So if you start jamming ace queen here for value, your opponent's just gonna naturally call less of this bullshit. But yeah. And you just naturally make less with your value in a weird way, I think. Because your opponent has so much nuts that he like already can like close to MDF defend this. Like what happens if he just calls nuts? Yeah, he's calling 15%, so he's overfolding by 20%. So, I mean, obviously all your bluffs prints, but yeah. It's like he still has 15% pure nuts, right? So if you start jamming ace queen and shit, it's like, yeah. Because also like there is this like thing on the river where it's like, what if your opponent's just doesn't have enough of these hands, right? Like look at the bluffs themselves. They're all like, you know, stuff people might not find. Right? Like there's a lot of people that just won't overbet king to 3 of spades on the flop here. Right? So, you know. If you think your guy's over bluffing, it's like usually okay to call linear. I'll BRB, guys. I'm gonna take a piss. I'll BRB. No, Frog, you're not a dumbass for jamming that. I think that's a spot where people call way too blocker dense. I'm back. Sorry, stream. Yeah, Frog. Actually, quick second. I can't show, but yo, what do you think of this for the background? Is this not goated? Guys, in the guess mistake, this is Benna's side, this is my side. What do we think? This surely is goated, no? That's fire? Yeah. No, I think he based it off, it's an AI image, but it's based off his profile. Isn't it goated? Alright, Yo, guys, I'm about to make a YouTube short public. Can everyone just juice it? Like, I put the link in the chat, and we just all, like, everyone just comments and juices the shit out of it. Like, what do we think? All 24 of us. Like, everyone watches it twice through. Or is this too cringy? Like, anyway, I'm gonna post it now, regardless. Wait, how do I fucking do this? And then we'll keep studying. And it's public. Did I do, like, the description right? Whatever. Whatever. Alright. This is a YouTube short, boys. Oh, shit. Bro, I'm liking my own content. I guess you guys can't hear audio. But I know, I'll put the link in the chat. Wait, I just haven't been able to see YouTube's chat. No wonder no one's responding to me. I've been only on Twitch chat, bro. I'm so ill. Sorry to all the YouTube viewers. Let me look. Let me look at a couple of questions on YouTube chat. Oh my god, I've seen thing, bro. It's like 8 people. The new setup is better. Never mind. Yellow tag mean? What does yellow tag mean? Oh, Joe, that means friend. I don't know if you're still here. Fancy some PLO at some point. Sorry about that, boys. Nah, I got the good chat. Alright. Appreciate to all y'all. If you comment, I'll respond to you, obviously, because we're trying to become fucking massive YouTubers, guys. I'll remember all my day ones, though. Promise. If we're gonna lose all this money in poker, guys, we might as well fucking blow up. I think we've looked at a lot of shit, but we probably should look at a little more stuff, and then I'll get to playing. Okay, this spot, like, honestly, I don't think Villain has, like, accurate pre-flop range, but I figured we would raise flop sometimes and just get it in. I think I called too wide here. Okay. No, ace queen off this call. Where do I send hand? Yeah, you send it in the Discord. Appreciate you all to watch the short. I'm going to post it on my Discord, the link as well. Do you ever play live? Yeah, a little bit. I haven't in a while, though. Okay, he's supposed to be like half pot, and he's supposed to just be like absolutely railing me in this board. So, maybe I'm just griefing by raising. Yeah, we don't have a raise. This board is 2-dog. Yeah, he just jams like a bunch of shit and then folds the stuff. He jams ace of spades, so I figured we could raise this hand, but nope, we're just dog shit at the game. Unfortunate. Always sucks when you suck. Sucks to suck. Okay. So you're saying, dude, you like the old setup more? Not DM? Oh, DM for OnlyFans has you yellow tagged. Yo, you gotta reply to that. Okay, give me. You have him yellow tagged. Joe, what do you think it means?
Psycho.
Yes, Jared tagged Fish, which is crazy. This guy wants to know why you haven't tagged this. If you're willing to share, obviously. Yellow equals mid, def not. If you're willing to share it. If you don't want to share it, it's fine. Oh, that's just reg / play good against. Okay. And then what's these two? Gods or what? Is it nits? Is it nits? Honestly, I could see it. Jared isn't the same tag. Oh, is Jared yellow? Bro, we're getting all the drama going on right now. Alright. Yo, this for the score though, boys. Is this like, because basically we have to score, so this is going to be the score cutscene. Is this goated or what? The webcam's like here, maybe? Or here, maybe. Actually, low has to be bad though. Is this goated? Frog, is this goated? Okay, this fit goes hard. Okay. You gotta keep it. It's hard as fuck for the thumbnail. No, I think the thumbnail we're gonna try to be more like accurate to what the video is. Like the thumbnail, guys, the vision for Guess the Steak. No, I think it's good for the score. I think it's good. I think for the thumbnail, when's it coming out? When we're done editing it. No spoilers. But I need you guys to juice that one. Bro, I need y'all to hype that vid up when it comes out, because I spent a lot of time into it as a noob YouTuber, so. And my editor is also fucking grinding to make it work, because I kind of fucked up, so he has to actually do like extra shit to make it work. But let me know if you guys will want to see more. It was definitely fun as fuck to make for like the 30 minutes while we were doing it. No, the next one, my vision is like me and Benna, and then like poker players, or like maybe a rich guy, or like either like what's it called? Like silhouettes, maybe, like with a question mark above it, and like the name of the steak, or it's just like a rich guy and a broke guy, and we're like trying to guess. I can remove the face cams for the score. No. Yeah, maybe just do the counter here. Yeah. So it's like me, like maybe like even behind a desk, one on this side, and then like people we have to guess on this corner for the thumbnail. But try to make it like look clean. Like it's too detailed, like people can't read it. So yeah, that's my idea for like Guess the Steak. Because the first thing people see is your thumbnail, the second thing people see is your title, and then like obviously then it's your intro. I'm trying to be more of like I'm trying to go Mr. Beast mode, guys. If I'm gonna make a YouTube video, like we gotta learn from the best. All right. Oh, 3 comments on my shirt. Let me reply to I. This guy only bets when he hits. Bro, don't reveal my exploits. I'm gonna start pinning the best comment, by the way, guys. I need to do that. I don't know what I just comment. I think I'm just gonna pin this one for now. It seems like I'm pinning this one for now. This is currently the pinned one. Wait, why the fuck did it just glitch on my comments? Okay, I gotta refresh the vid. Bro, you know what? I love streaming on 0 delay, bro. I fucking love it. Okay, guys. This is the top pinned comment right now. We're obviously gonna like and reply to everyone. I don't know why I'm capping everything, but... Is there a shrug? How do I do a shrug? This doesn't work, does it? Wait, what? You guys are getting like the behind the scenes of a YouTuber right now. Okay, we just shrug. All right. Is that actually boost the algo if you comment on your own video? No, it's more like people will come back to reply to my comment, or like other people will reply to my comments to boost engagement. Sometimes I'll have a short that's like legitimately dead, and then like I'll comment, like, for example, my Babby Jackpot one, and then I'll comment a bunch on it, and then people will come back to like be like, "Oh my god, you idiot!" Da 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 da, and then it'll increase the engagement again. So you should make sure you like, if you're really sweating, you should probably try to like reply to all your comments. If you're really sweating, you could like ask a question every time. That's just extra. All right, boys. Do we have any other hands? Or David, did you post one? All right, let's see. Well, the showdown's revealed. Okay. He didn't do it in big blinds because you're a freaking wreck, but I'll let it slide. So it's open raise. It's just. Oh, he limp ISO spot versus a wreck. You bet small, he calls. You bet turned, and then you jam river versus a wreck. I mean, it's fine. I mean, I don't know. Like it's obviously versus a wreck, right? He's like limp calling, and you just like think he's gonna fold river. Yeah, I mean it's whatever. He just says nuts. This is really the hand you wanted to send, David? It's a 3-bet pot. Oh! Oh, dude, this is why you gotta do big blinds. Okay, so it's a reg. Okay. It's a reg. Okay, so you, obviously you know your hand's like probably not great on the river. You block like folds, right? How do we send you the hands? In the Discord, Wisely. God, VIP in my stream doesn't even know. Right here. And send it in big blinds, please, bro. I don't need any more lowlights. Okay, obviously your hand's not good on the river, but if you think it's overfolded, it's fine. What a punt. Okay, stop exaggerating. Like, it's not that big of a punt. Like, to overbluff this spot, probably it could just prince, right? Like, your opponent has to call Jack X on the river, I'm sure. So it's like, and people just like, some people just never call it, so. Yeah, but I think sometimes people are really pretty simple-minded with stuff like this. Like, oh, I have a flush draw, so it's bad to bluff. Like, it's really easy to say when the guy has fucking ace-4 spades, right? He never calls a jack. Yeah, exactly. And it's offsuit too, so he only has king jacks. Yeah. The spot's usually just oh. Even in theory, like, he could have too many of these little hands, so. Shouldn't bluff when they have the nuts, exactly. Like, you see it's mixing, because the king is good. And that's assuming he's, like, calling queen jack, like, sometimes he's calling ace jack pure. He's calling 9s and 10s at a frequency. He's calling some ace 5 of clubs. This board is just, like, textbook overfolded, jack 10. So, and it's already mixing, because you get to just, you have all this value that you get to push. You can jam this stuff, so. Yeah, definitely, I think, like, a printing spot to just jam river as a bluff. Saying what a punt is a little aggressive, bro. You're trying to bully him. You see, that's why you don't want to be too close-minded with your blockers. Obviously, and it probably just doesn't have as much checking EV as you would like to think, right? Like, what does it beat? Like, queen 10 of diamonds? Like, goes check with, or something? Okay, sorry, not a punt. Because, like, realistically, like, blocking all these folds makes it, like, less good, but the board is so good for you. Like, yeah. And you only have so much shit that bets turn, right? Like, it's hard to go pure. So, I mean, listen, bro. I review a heads up hand, of course, bro. Yeah, I know, but you're completely missing the point, and even that's bad logic. The logic is bluffing makes money, and it's probably more often than not overfolded. Imagine he's not calling. Okay, let's see. Okay, for your example, his read is he's not going to call this, and we never get to know because the guy fucking called him with ace 4. So let's just do fold, fold, fold. This is not going to look good for you. Okay, maybe queens will give him just because why not? Because it'll just be ridiculous at that point. Are we good here, guys? Are we good? Okay, fold. So nuts only calls. Let's see how much this makes now. All right, it doesn't check. It actually makes 31 bigs. So, yeah. All right, hand versus a bot? Bro. What is this name, by the way? All right. What is hand? Open small blind flat. All right. This guy's by far the best player in this fucking Discord, so. You see, the thing is, your mental is actually the punt there. Because you're too close-minded to thinking, like, oh, diamonds are bad bluffs because they block folds on the river. Oh, don't run the spot. Oh, I wasn't even looking. Okay. So it's is it versus Rec? Wait, who's Otek? Wait. Oh, everyone's like sitting out. And it's a Rec, obviously, right? No, he's not goated, Frog. Stop glazing. The guy had ace 4. He should have fucking known. He had timing tells. He could have exploited. Okay, B25. Obviously it's small. I mean, you could also like check here, to be honest. Wait, why? What? It's just oh, it's a bot. It's a bot that vet check vet all his bluffs. Oh, I see. Playing like 4 years at least. Sorry, you're just a goat. So you're just farming the bot. Bro, this is the shit you have to do to get high stakes. This fucking guy's the best player here. I dream of being as good as him one day. Is it possible? Y'all review live? Should I get on the call like that one guy? I don't know, okay. Oh, that guy's the GOAT. I forget his name, but everyone knows who I'm talking about. He's like a podcast people call in. And so he jams. And they're like, what? Why? What is he betting? And they're like in on it together. And the guy's like, yeah, that was what I was thinking. That's his name? Crush Live. That guy's my GOAT. He's top 2 and he's not 2. Alright. Wazzy, freaking comment on my YouTube video, bro. On my YouTube short. You guys gotta fucking farm this YouTube short. I need more funny comments, honestly. Would I have to post it into the Discord? I mean, you could DM me it. If you really, really want to. I mean, but I recommend posting in the Discord. I mean, I don't anyone's gonna find your leaks, bro. I mean, if you want to type it out here, you could. I don't really care. If it's a fucking live hand, but just like make it easy to like understand. Because I'm actually like really bad apparently at reading hand histories. Alright, let's look at a server access. Let me let you in. Oh, I gave you the wrong thing. Alright. By the way, Ethan Suda's spade hand is really close. You mean diamond? Was it diamonds? Are you talking about just the hand we just is really close? If one uses a different sizing on the turn, B75 plus, it is way less bluff. I'd guess even on the king. Well, yeah, but that's because he's supposed to call, he's pricing to call more of his shit. Right? So the bluff could actually make even more money. Like, dude, if we node lock it, it's going to be even more printing. That's the thing. So it's just pointless. Because, yeah, naturally, like, he's blocking more folds in a spot where the opponent's supposed to call more often, so it's going to make even less money. Because, like, now you only bluff because when you block small folds, because your opponent's basically pricing to call every made hand, or you'd be massively overfolding. That's like, the logic. That's why you have to actually understand the sim, like, you're looking at. Did you go B75 on the turn? You didn't even, right? Also, opponent's probably just main sizing jam here, right? That's why it's like super weird. Yeah, obviously now it's like, but it also like still makes money as a jam, by the way. It just has checking EV. No, I don't. I think exploitatively, bro, this doesn't make as much money. Like, people actually might call this. No. Yeah, the reason why your hand doesn't jam is because your opponent's only supposed to, like, yeah, sixes. Like, who's calling sixes low frequency to mix river here? To be, like, make your, like, no one's doing that. Oh, I didn't see B50 on the turn. Yeah, but, like, it's still relevant to how much, like, stacks are behind. Like, if we just do the spot like this. What, is this gonna keep, like, the ratio, like, relatively the same? I stand a hand, by the way, above versus the bot. Okay, okay. Let me look at it. Sorry, Joe. What is this turn? Oh, 5 spades, right? Yeah, now it loses money. But what is the opponent calling? Still calling this shit. Sixes. Snap! Alright, let's review this, because this is obviously boring. Like, everyone knows the answer to this. Like, yeah, it loses 0.67, right? And, like, we could all just collectively agree, like, in low stakes, this spot is going to be more overfolded than overcalled, right? Okay. And if not, and then even if you disagree, sure. Yeah, then it doesn't make money. Everyone knows that. If the guy overcalls, then it's not going to make money. I mean, that's day one. So there's nothing to really talk about. What open do you play? 2.5, right? That's what I thought. Okay, Richard. I'll look. We're gonna review this hand. Okay, King Queen 4, 3-bet pot, you call, he bet small, which is incorrect. But it's fine, obviously you call. Check turn, B75. And then obviously jam for value. I don't know if I love your hand on the turn. The reason why is because your opponent's gonna check call hands potentially, like ace-7, ace-5 suited. And your hand doesn't want to bluff river. This is why I hate betting these types of hands on turn. Simply, and also, like, I don't know if I like your size. Like, I mean, I guess it's okay, King X size. I mean, I guess it's okay. Obviously, you have the read that he's just gonna overfold for 2 streets here once he checks, which is probably fine. I think it's like, it is what it is. The reason why is, like, if you're planning on just doubling for that reason, then it's just pure exploit, which is fine. I mean, he had Queen Jack spades, which is obvious. But also your hand, when you have, like, these low connecting flush draws. Yeah, okay, well then there's nothing to really talk about. Your line's just fine, and then you get cooler. So there's nothing to really talk about. Because you have a lot of hands here when he goes B25. You understand? My roll is crazy. But you have a lot of hands here when he goes B25. You're basically calling like 90%, right? I guess you still have to overfold, I guess. Yeah, you start calling 7-6 backdoor flush draws and shit. Oh, it's also double FD, right? So you can, like, check call a lot of garbage, right? Like, you can check call Lots of shit. He could also jam on you, right? I'm gonna zap it. Zzz. On the river, though, I felt like he didn't have a calling range that loses to me. I mean, I don't think that's true, bro. I mean, you could just check call like King X, right? You could have Ace Queen, Ace of Spades. You could have 4X. Like, you have to jam. Because, like you said, you're just trying to attack it and overbluff the spot, so it's like... Reopen. Yeah, for the smaller size, it doesn't mind it as much, but you see, I think if you start to go bigger, it probably likes it even less. The small size, you have to just bet a lot of hands. Oh, no, it's fine. I guess you want to bet most King X, right? But it's all the same. Jack 9, I mean, obviously you never want to have this, like, logic of, like, I think Jack 9's probably okay to still bluff, probably. Simply just for the logic that, like, obviously in heads up, no, because, like, what opponent's gonna have, like, Ace Jack potentially sometimes, and Ace 10. Diamonds, and, like, yeah, so, like, probably too much in this node to bluff. But that being said, I mean, it still jams a little, right? Does he have all this other dog shit, because he just goes so small, right? Like, you have, like, Jack 7, and, like, fucking, you could just have, like, random Ace X as well. Ace 3, I mean, obviously you have Ace 3 with diamonds, right? It's weird you have it so low frequency. I guess you just never bet turn with it. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, overall, I mean, this hand's whatever. I mean, if you think he's overfolding. The reason I try not to bet these spots is I feel like people try to, like, they overstation, but I could be wrong. Completely. I like smaller too because I think people are, like, naturally more polar than they should be. But I don't blame you for that, for sizing up as well, actually. Because if you think he just has a lot of Queen X's played, you don't want to bet Queen X, you can just simplify the pot, which is, like, probably the better play. Like, obviously the downside with range betting is he bets all this shit, and then all of this shit. Like, obviously he has the garbage versions of these hands too. I mean, unless they're just pure B75ing on the turn. No, because it's still getting a checking range on the flop, actually. That's what's kind of cringe. It's, like, completely inaccurate sim, actually. Because he's definitely just, if he's playing this size, he's definitely range betting. So that's why you weren't calling 90% earlier. Because now you're going to call, like, yeah. Now you're going to play, like, everything. Right, this is actually probably how you would defend, right? Because you know for a fact he's range betting. And I know, and, like, so I call these hands this wide. So then I know I just have so much other shit to bluff. Once villain checks. It still doesn't mind betting it, though. But yeah, I mean, nothing to do. I mean, what are we even talking about? Like, obviously you have to jam, right? Like, he doesn't only have kings, queens, fours, and flush draws. Like, I don't think, like, this guy's... If he's a massive nit, like, he'll just win anyway, so... Heads up, I am a little rusty, but yeah. What if river's like 9 of clubs? Is it betting to jam it? Maybe that's why. Because 7-5 doesn't interact? Yeah, it's betting to jam it, which is the play. Obviously, like, you can't get this hand up. I think that's why I likes bluffing it. Yeah. And I think that has something to do with your opponent should always just bet ace-7 and ace-5. So, like, you don't actually block anything. Like, it's not like you're going to have this heuristic where you unblock folds on the river, because your opponent's never going to check all ace-7 or ace-5. So, yeah, that's why it's fine. Alright. Let's see if we have another hand, right? You sent me on Discord? Okay, so what is this? This is a real live game? This is the stake we were playing, Richard? So you're just playing for fucking millions? Dan has any king X? Probably not. You're probably limited to just 4x on the river. Like, how often does your opponent have to fucking call with king 10, king jack here? That's just a little insane, I think. Or, like, I mean, like, you're saying queen x non-block. So, like, he's not going to call enough of it for it to be worth. It's not USD, alright? It doesn't really matter. Close to 510. Okay, so you're curious why your hand doesn't bet this, but you bet some Jack X? Is that what you're saying? The reason why your hand's not going to be that great on the river is your opponent is going to fold. I think he might be close to folding some ace queen on the river. Like, it's not like the best hand possible. And the reason you want to block Jack X, you want to block ace Jack, and you want to block pocket jacks, and yeah. And it has no showdown once you bet turn. That being said, it's like probably okay to bluff this spot with this hand. The reason it just doesn't bet this much is like you're probably not blocking too much value, and your opponent has an easy time defending now. So he's gonna have a lot of 2-pair on this run out. Like he's gonna have a lot of 2-pair. He's gonna have some queen 10, I'm sure, once because you can bet turn that big. So yeah, that's the reason. Obviously, he ends up just calling his queen. So nice hand. If a guy like snap calls his queen, I would assume he has like just no folds. Also, you block him from having, like, he could actually have king queen and call turn here. Beating like queen 10 and like 10-8 and like all this bullshit. So if you bluff this king queen CC is the best. I understand the logic. You're saying like bad suit flop, but I don't even know if this is fully true. Because like, how much bad suit flop? Like your opponent is still gonna call all his clubs on the turn. Like king X and queen X of clubs. Like he doesn't have queen 8 or king 8. That's why the heuristic, I feel like it's close-minded here. You probably just want to block like ace queen suited more often and stuff, but I don't think suits matter here at all. I think you're like, it's probably fake. I think hearts is probably best because like I think in theory your opponent could call, like in practice hearts is best because your opponent could call king jack of hearts or king jack of spades, queen jack of spades, and fold river to this size. Like he could call Jack X on the turn here, and that's like the main folding range on the river. Why do hands like? Because you block pocket nines. And the showdown is fake, bro. You're thinking like, oh, I have showdown, but like a 9 is never winning here. So the 9 side card is going to be better usually than the queen side card. That's the idea. But I think if your opponent pure calls ace queen, let's just run this hand at 100 bigs. Then you're probably not going to make that much money, to be honest. The idea is like you gotta always think about like checking EV, like instead of like thinking like, oh, I have showdown, you actually have to think about like what your opponent has here. Like yes, the difference with king 9 versus king queen is king queen doesn't chop with king queen. That's the only other hand he could maybe have, right? But even then, if he has king queen offsuit, for example, you don't even want a queen, right? Like that's such a small percentage of the range to like, are you king 9 beats king queen here? Does that make sense? There's not even a flush draw that can miss. So wait, let's review the hand. Are you just range betting the flop? I think so, right? Let's just do B33 range here. But then that's why queen, I don't blame you for jamming. I mean, it's hard for you to have nothing on the river here. The thing is you will have 16 combos of king queen. So yeah, I mean, obviously it's nice, like it's obviously nice to block ace queen, but at the same time, like if the guy's never gonna fold ace queen there and he has so much 2-pair, like he's gonna have ace 9, ace 8, you're only jamming to get him to fold ace 5 because even ace 4 is 2-pair. Yeah. What do you go on turn? You size down on turn. Maybe also you got to be aware. Maybe your opponent might know how you're playing because like you size down on the turn here. Maybe you're doing that. Maybe you got to realize like maybe. Oh no, you didn't. What am I saying? You actually went 75. What am I saying? I'm just a dumbass. Range betting. Yeah, range betting is fine because your opponent also has like more of these underpairs. Okay. I didn't realize you went 75 here. I thought you sized down turn for some reason. Yeah. And then yeah, king queen, and then I like jamming king 9. The thing is, like, look at this. Your opponent's supposed to be like kind of on the fringe with ace queen, and then on the fringe with ace 10, and then like mixing ace 5, right? And but he's obviously never folding ace 9, and obviously like he could have pocket 9. You see? So this is why this spot's not that good for you, and then you're not even jamming ace king for value anymore in theory. Obviously, I would jam it instantly versus guy, but for that reason, also bluffing's not gonna make that much money. Because like think about when he gets a river here. He always has an ace, and if he doesn't even pay any mind, he just calls ace queen because he's like, oh, it's a good hand. Even though it's like literally the most bluff catcher of all bluff catchers, like, you know what I'm saying? So, like, you're not jamming ace 10 for value, right? Even though people don't always think like that at low stakes, or especially live poker, right? They naturally will call ace queen more often. Though they should call ace 5 here, for example. They just do. They don't play like that. Yeah. It's just hard. You're just gonna have so much value on this board, bro, and he's gonna have so many snap calls. Ace king is a good check back in theory. Yeah, in theory it is, but yeah. Because in theory, okay, look how little ace queen is calling, and ace 5 and ace 7, right? If you start jamming ace king, the solver would just like, okay, let's just actually node lock this. If you start jamming ace king for value, the solver, I don't even think it's ever going to call ace queen. You see, it doesn't even call it. It'll just say, okay, you can overbluff me, but I'm just going to call my nuts only now, because you're jamming too thin. Yeah, that's like the downside of jamming too thin, right? So, but this is why though I would still jam ace queen here, because I don't expect ace king here, because I don't expect people to make this adjustment necessary. So yeah. But anyway, yeah. I wouldn't jam ace king in my stake, but I mean honestly I might, because people just call me with ace 10, ace 5, ace queen. So yeah. But I think honestly, your bluff is whatever, bro. I mean, at the end of the day, obviously if he's not calling ace queen in these hands, then your bluff's gonna make a trillion. If he's pure calling it, you're gonna lose money. That's how you always gotta think about like the marginal hands in the spot, especially in the spots where there's lots of marginal hands. That's usually what decides like a lot of the EV. Yeah. So if you just view my opponent as like, oh, he's stickier, then I just wouldn't bother jamming. I don't even know if that's good advice. You always want to look at that's not even good advice, Ajay, because you usually actually think the opposite. You're thinking so theoretical here, but like that's not even how you should be thinking in the spot. He needs to just think about all the hands his opponent has, and he needs half the time. He needs him to fold half the time here. So yeah. And if he's gonna have a lot of two pair in his hand range, he's gonna river some queen 10 potentially if he's a station, but that means he might have some jack X. But even then, if your opponent's not gonna fold enough ace queen, he's not gonna fold enough ace X, then you're not gonna get that 50% folding range that you need. Yeah. It actually is overfolding this spot weird. But that's because also there is some like the solver's like kind of inaccurate because you're jamming naturally more ace X, so then your opponent naturally calls more ace X because like the blockers are so good, so then it actually ends up equaling 50%. Although it's not an advice. Yeah, you're good. I mean your thought process is also sound. But like that's also not even always true because sometimes you just don't jam for value because think about it, right? If you don't jam for value because your opponent's not gonna call worse, that could actually raise a line, bros, like, oh, this is really good to bluff. Right? So like that's why it's not like always the best thought process. Like let's say you can't jam ace king on the river because your opponent's like not supposed to call worse. Well then that might mean like, oh, he actually has a lot of folds. And I could Yeah. I just think I've played enough live poker to know that your opponent just always has an ace there, bro. And then like they just don't fold an ace enough. Yeah. Especially because like they just wait all day for a hand and they're just not gonna fold an ace. This hands. Are you in the stream? Person who sent me this link on Discord? Doesn't reveal anything because I don't know. I'm sure you don't want to be. Okay, this is a hand from an anonymous person. Let's run this hand. I don't know why I closed shit. Let me open Wizard again. So what is it? Heads up. So you just range bet flop, I'm assuming. Turn jack. Check small bet. That's crazy. Crazy line, actually, I think, so far. Why is it your comment's fucking dog shit? What kind of comment is that? Yeah, exactly. Like, you never really play the same hand versus a guy twice. You want to find out, like, you just need to think of like your odds on a bluff. I find sometimes just seeing your odds on a bluff as opposed to thinking like, is my hand a good bluff? That's usually like a bad thought process in 99% of stakes. Yeah, you're obviously playing very passive here. Playing 75 around your like shitty ace X, and then you're betting 7x because yeah, 7x is good, and your opponent's gonna check back a lot of stuff. Obviously, your opponent's just like a fucking 125, like a 20 reopen Andy, like this guy probably is. Then it can be nice. I haven't even finished the hand, but sometimes people just over reopen here because they're expecting a lot of snap folds. That's why checking makes even more. XR, I think you're still around like your betting range though. You're not raising too much KJ for sure. Not. Yeah, I mean, how can you fold river though? It's probably like pure bluff catcher though. Your opponent's jamming KJ for value, so yeah, you just can't fold. I mean, it is like technically a bluff catcher. It just has like such good blockers to the point where like it's like not really value catching, but it like double blocks value, and you have like chop outs versus value potentially. Yeah, fours is like such an overbluff though, so it's disgustingly big. He just thought you would overfold. But yeah, like fours is obviously like a massive overbluff. Like it does make money as a bluff. Obviously, it makes money as a bluff, just like anything in the swap, because the board is naturally good for villains. So like every bluff has to make money. It's like kind of I think the theory behind the SWAT. You don't defend MDF here because like you just don't have as much 7x, and you're naturally capped because you decided to check turn and you're front loading a little, so you just naturally overfold a little. But yeah. It seems like every bluff here minimum just like unless your blockers are garbage. Actually 10-8 or diamonds could just lose money. I guess you block 10s and 8s. Yeah. It's like fucking you're blocking what, 6 folds? And like you block 0 calls. So yeah, I guess 10-8 of diamonds is pretty fucking garbage, but outside of like just like something completely atrocious like this, like even you see queen 10 bluff because you block value. You don't want the queen of diamonds though. For some reason, is it not no locking range with flop? Or is this some heuristic he reopens queen x of diamonds less so you call it more? But that's just never happening in real life. Yeah, that's obviously what's happening here. Because like you give up more queen of diamonds on the turn here slightly than average. Compared to these hands, so therefore it becomes a better reopen here. But like that's just never happening in reality, so it doesn't matter. So yeah, that's basically it. I mean, obviously, like you fucking have to call, like especially if you're just gonna like take some McDonald's hand that like clearly has a lot of showdown and bluff hits. It looks like even this, like this is just pure unblocker hand basically, blocking no calls, right? Like it looks like this is like the minimum price for any like unblocker hand to just get on a bluff. Yeah. So your opponent's bluffs are supposed to just make money here. Oh, just because you naturally cap yourself as played. You're calling a lot of like ace x at heart clubs here because you can't bluff everything. You're calling a lot of ace x as drawing hands, right? Like ace 10, for example, because it's drawing and he gives you such an insane price. Ace 5 because it's drawing and he gives you an insane price, right? So you're just naturally gonna have to overfold river for that reason, but that he shouldn't bluff a hand with checking EV. It's like fine though, I guess. Like he thinks it could be overfolded. I don't know how you could think that though. Realistically, like people call this way too much in the spots, in my opinion. Like way too much with this as well. I mean, I guess they don't find these, but imagine that'd be hilarious. You just call 6s his force. It's a cooler. I mean, obviously there is some merging. Like, imagine you called like ace queen, ace of clubs here. It's like something atrocious. That is the actual upside to jamming 4s. That sometimes is the upside. Like, there is this weird leveling going on where it's like you're like, oh, you're over bluffing, and you call a hand like this, and then he has 4s. Like, that's the only upside where like that occasionally could happen versus a bad opponent, where people will call like garbage like this trying to be cool, and you can just have 4s, right? So you get like added EV if the guy like goes 2 blocker heavy, and like for example, you fold hand like King Jack, and then for some reason you call this because you're just like, or not this, or this, because you have blockeritis. I see somebody calling your ace high. Yeah, exactly. That's what makes 4s like that could slightly improve the bluffing EV to like being a profitable bluff. The issue is, I mean, I actually could see it, to be honest. Like people might call, they might not call this. Honestly, is it just 5,000 IQ? Because I could see people not calling this, but instead calling this. Maybe it's just fucking a trillion IQ. And I actually could see myself making that mistake, to be honest. So. That's, yeah. Because the only reason it's an overbluff, it's because of the checking EV is so fucking high. No. It's about like hitting the frequency, right? Let's say your opponent actually calls here perfect, 37%, right? Like he just plays perfect, but he's just slightly more blockeritis. Like he calls slightly less queen jack and calls slightly more ace queen with the queen of clubs. Then it would actually make this a profitable bluff. Oh my god, what did I just do? Same frequency, but now you jam the pairs as a bluff, and you check queen 10, right? Oh no, you still bluff queen 10. But I guess queen 10 blocks calls. What was bluffing before that wouldn't bluff? I guess you just overbluff though. I thought I upped the frequency of calls though. Yeah, you jam less ace-8 of clubs than you were before, but even that is showdown. If you're calling kind of crazy, well, everything here's a club, right? Oh, I guess like this stuff isn't. All right, let me know like that. Wait, why is it like so organized weird? Okay, this is the ace of clubs and then these are the queens. That's right. It was 10-9. I was 10-9 checking now. Oh, I see. Yeah. But 4s is like making money because it like folds out stuff, and then yeah, you get called by worse. There's like these like hero call indies. But like the reason it's throwing me off is queen jack shouldn't make money though. Like it should make more money in return. But what do I know? But maybe because like we're calling so much ace queen to the point it's like bugging out. Like if you jam more queen x as a bluff. Still not. We're not jamming this shit. Anyway, it is what it is. See, do we have another hand review? Yeah, I mean, I understand the logic behind the check back, but I think like I sent another one. All right, let's see it. Joe, on your hand, like I'm reading what you said in the Discord, but I think you just always jam a flush there. I think you're like overthinking it. Just happened. Like obviously he has a lot of queen x of spades, but it's not like that much of his range. I mean, I don't know how nitty he is pre, but like if you're gonna overbluff the guy because you think he's a nit, it's still okay to just like have value. Okay. Let's look at the spot. Okay, you forgot to whatever. Okay, raise call. What is this? This is heads up. I'm in the BVB. Flop overbet. Turn he checks and then you just bet into him. Oh, as a bluff. I guess you just think it's overfolded. I mean, obviously turn is the street where you're kind of McDonald's, but because you have other bluffs, like obviously you have like 10-9. You have like Jack X with the club, which is obviously better because your opponent's main folding range on turn specifically is a lot of King X. Obviously, like King X on the river is whatever. The issue is like I find people could like maybe check a lot of King X clubs, so you'd probably rather have King Queen King X clubs here. But yeah, it's like a very like natural, yeah. It is what it is. Obviously, he did like the so confusing. Oh no, you did the so confusing. Obviously, like you kind of had the okay read. The thing is though, like honestly, the way you play is smart though. Like you're just like, oh, this is gonna be overfolded, and then you just fucking send it, which is like fair. And your showdown EV is fake, like. So like, is it like you don't always have to wait for a better hand? You could just be like, oh, he's massively overfolding, and then, like if we node lock it, like it's gonna print out of its ass, right? So, especially if you have a club, because it is hard for him to picture bluffs. Why showdown fake? If yes, and looks fine at frequency. I mean, I agree. We're deeper, right? Are we deeper? No, we're not. We're literally 100 bigs exact. You definitely have showdown because he just overbets other King X and then just checks it. I mean, the turn is the main like meme street. I think like people are good enough to just range check flushes though. If he folds ace X, then it's fine. He definitely doesn't need to call one pair on the river here. Like obviously you could call like ace queen queen of clubs, which he blocks, which is nice. He went 150 flop. Oh no, he went 125. The thing is, I feel like King X just blocks when he folds. King of Hearts blocks fold, like King 10, King 9, King Queen, for example. This is obviously a horrible turn, so you should be like close to range check, I think. Ace range check. And yeah, you see your hand just doesn't bet. It does bet a little actually, but it likes the King of Clubs more than the Queen by a good amount for that reason. Yeah, because your opponent has like some of these King of Clubs, but he has a lot more King of Clubs hands, especially just like offsuit King of Clubs, Ace King, the King of Clubs, which is like way more likely to bluff catch compared to like Ace Queen. I mean, obviously some Ace Queen Queen of Clubs, but Ace Queen's not a great bet here. And what did you do? Overbet turn? No, you 75 bet. Let's see bottom of calling range on river. Oh, that's king, obviously, without a diamond. Because diamond blocks folds, duh. Everyone knows that. Because he's going to have overbet like some queen 5, I'm sure, with the queen of diamonds and shit. Yeah. Which is drawing dead versus you or drawing to chop, I guess. And then... I mean, obviously, even that all in is meh. What in the... I guess I call aces because like you could jam 8s, I guess, if you didn't. Because you want to call these blocker-related hands. I mean, it could be overfolded, right? I mean, it's tough looking at this to imagine it's overfolded, to be honest. The main exploit is like turn checking range is fake, da-da-da. But like you see King X just blocks when he folds. That's why it's not like a great hand on the river. Because also he can even call like look, you could also call King Queen off Queen of Clubs. You could call Ace Queen off Queen of Clubs. I mean, I guess this hand calls river, maybe. I mean, obviously Queen of Clubs is like good on river, but the King is so bad. Like if we look at folds here, Jack is main, and then King is like, next up. We look at calls. Obviously clubs, aces, sixes. The very bottom we got King X. It's like top worst cards. Obviously Jack and 8 is bad. The thing is the Jack is slightly disingenuous though, because Villain actually doesn't have that much Jack X once he calls turn. So that's why King is actually probably the worst card, because he has the most of it. Even though he calls some of it, he has the most. He has more King X. We filter. Second pair versus third pair. He has none. guy's good. Knows he has no showdown with the king queen on the turn already. Yeah, it's definitely like dude. This guy, the guy who sent the hand, is just the fucking genius though. Like he plays poker the way you should play it probably to make money, and I play like the fucking romantic shit way. Yeah, I should use the simplified. I'm gonna start playing limps. Yo, guys, do we play fucking limps today? Let's play fucking limps today. What do you guys think? Time to fucking limp? Yes in the chat or no in the chat? You guys want to play fucking limps? Versus Regs only. Obviously versus Rex, I'm not gonna play limps unless I have dog shit. Like I'm just gonna be face up. Do we run some fucking limps today, guys? Reg is too high, but I mean, like, look, I'll put it NL50 GG, and I think even then, it limps. So your logic is fake. I actually know how to play limps. Like, for example, I know you call 10% of these. You call stuff, and then I know bottom of range. It's like limps more often. Go to the trainer and play some limps BBB. Okay, let's fucking go. Study. Wait, how do I do this? Trainer. Fucking. Preflop. RFI. Hero. GTO. Wait, how do I do this? Do we use all settings? Modes, high RNG. Fold! Dude, I'm a fucking genius. Guys, you wanna 99? Ooh, it's tempting. I think it's still fold. Weird, so the rake is too high for it to CC. What is CC actually? Cold call, but still plays heavy limb strat. Yeah. Yeah, I realized what you meant. Took me a sec. It's kind of a different, I think it's a completely different spot though. Right? Like you're playing slightly more hands in the small, but in reality, like, I think also like this big blind isn't limped. Right? So it's completely different because this isn't raked. Only the 0.5 I put in is raked, so it actually gets hedged a little bit. Because you play some smaller pots, you rake less, but this, I believe these are still unraked, right? The 1.5 in the middle is unraked. Whereas if you're cold calling, that 2.5 is raked, or that 2x is raked, so it's like slightly less good. I think I'm spitting. I think I'm fucking spitting here, chat. Oh, they call me the scientist. I never understood what that nickname meant in school, but okay, 94 obviously raising. I think like 10% I would limp this. Why doesn't it fucking tell me? Alright, on a 21, like... Okay, wait, we need to do pause after action. Like, what is this? It's just a cooler? Like, oh my god, dealer. Sheesh. Okay, and let's do 2 tables. Let's like simulate the grind. 55. And then what? 83, I believe this just raises. Yeah, 6.5. This is boring, bro. Give me actual limps. I haven't limped yet. Okay, I don't want to play just the spot. Let's just... I had to end it with 100%. Sorry, chat. Stop after action. Do we have everything right now, finally? Okay, and let's not do 2 tables, but this is disgusting. Sorry. No offense, Wizard, but... I believe it's just full? Yeah. 31! No! I just wanted to limp so bad. I was like, limp stuck. Okay, let's play the hand out, though. Oh, no, not action. It has to be pause after street. Because, like, I still need to run, like, limp raise frequency. 69, I believe this hand raises. Yeah. 63. Oh my god, what? $13? I mean, duh. Like these fringe hands, basically the non-open hands you get to play. You build the main hands you're building the range around are the hands that wouldn't be able to open. Like King 7, I'm assuming like 7-6 off, stuff like this is what you mainly. Let's actually do like a deep. As opposed to drilling, I don't need to drill. Honestly, I'm gonna be honest. I don't need to drill. I think what I need. Why am I 75 bigs deep? Huh? Okay. So you see, this is the main thing, stuff that wouldn't be able to open if you play 3x. These are the pure limps. King 6, King 5, like obviously some of these like shitty 8x hands. 7, 6, these hands are like mixing pure limp. 4, 3 suited, 6, 3 suited. Ace deuce as well. Ace deuce off. So I can remember these. You have your pure raises, which is basically everything suited because you don't need coverage. By not even needing coverage, I mean like you have the offsuit versions of these hands, so your opponent can't actually exploit the fact that you don't never have them. Okay. The lower pair you go, you start mixing like half the time, and the stronger hit hands, like basically these are your pure. These are just to have value in your re-raise line. These hands are pure, but I don't believe you play the re-raise that often. Let's just say opponent plays 3, like obviously. Yeah, you like re-raise is not the main strategy you're playing here. Obviously, when it's really brain dead to play the re-raise value actually. Honestly, I'm gonna be real. I know I'm streaming, guys. Let's keep this between me and you. I don't think we run any re-raise bluffs today. I actually legitimately think people are just gonna play really, really bad into it. I mean, people could be over raising the limp. That's like the upside to running some re-raise bluffs, right? But yeah. Even then, you're still like very mergy. You just have to roll with like Jack 10, Ace 10. You don't actually like. It's not like you take some garbage like Jack 4 and you're like, fuck it. Like, what's like the most common re-raise bluff? Like, does Ace Jack count as a bluff? Because your opponent calls worse, obviously. But I guess it is. It's actually like very akin to the 4-bet bluffing range. Funny enough. We figured it out. You play 70 big blinds off stream. Fuck. Okay, guys, we're definitely fucking limping today. Like, and then we're gonna run a study stream. Okay, let's study. Let's start playing now. Okay, honestly, guys, I think what I do is we play for 2 hours. What do you guys think? We play for 2 hours, we study, and then we fucking play again. What do you guys think? Yay or nay? All right. Anyway, I gotta fucking go on delay. I'm gonna miss you guys. It's gonna be lonely. Let me set everything up right now so I have like the least amount of delay. Bro, I moved you over here. What the fuck happened? Because I legitimately think the only edge I can have as a streamer is just to play piss accurate. Like, otherwise I'd just go insane. So like, guys, we're just gonna play piss accurate. Like, fuck this. We're just gonna be so accurate that people like we're gonna be like Michael Irvin in his prime. If you guys know football, like, shouts to you. But like, it's gonna be 3rd and 3, and they know it's coming and they can't stop me. That's the poker player I need to be. You know what I mean? It's like giving Kevin Durant the ball. Like, you know he's ice out. Like, you can't stop him. You know it's coming, but you can't stop it. LeBron is prime. You know, everyone knows. That's what I need to be. So, I think like the more theoretical I play as well, and people don't know what the fuck's going on, the more likely they can make inaccuracies. So like, if you're theoretical, you actually benefit more from playing slightly weirder, like weirder 3-bet sizes, weirder opening sizes. Stuff like this, like more nerdy shit, like where your opponent's gonna make more mistakes. Like Clancy, for example, plays like really small 3-bets because he understands like what's supposed to happen. Whereas like if you're good at exploits, you kind of want almost to like play very standard, so you know what your opponent's gonna do, and then you can just counter what he's gonna do. You know. Whereas if you're like an exploit heavy player, like picking a weird 3-bet size isn't as appealing because you might get the wrong read on your opponent, what his adjustment is, etc.